How's it going, everyone out there in YouTube land? I tried to post this video last night. I went out to the bar, got home at 2 in the morning, and thought it'd be a good idea to try and do a video. And when I looked at it today, you know, I always say, oh, I haven't been drinking because I can't ever hold the camera steady anyway. But last night I had been drinking, and the video looked like the cameraman from Cloverfield filmed it, so I'm not going to put you guys through that. Trying to do it over here today, and I'm going to be discussing probably my second or third favorite DC character behind Batman, the Swamp Thing. He was created in 1971 by Bernie Wrightson and Len Wein, and he first appeared in House of Secrets '92. I do not have that issue. I'd really like to get it someday. Great character. Influenced by classic horror. As you can see from the covers, very influenced by EC, as Bernie Wrightson was. You know, really influenced by Wally Wood and especially Jack Davis. But the covers have that Tales from the Crypt Vault of Horror, you know, EC horror sci-fi format, where the bottom 2/3 of the cover are the cover art, and the top third has a solid color with the logo on the cover. So you can see the influence of EC on these books. Try and get a better shot of the picture here by Bernie, because this is a classic Wrightson image to #1. My book has a small ding down there in the bottom, but other than that, this copy is pretty damn nice, honestly. Tiny bit of insignificant spine rolling, really minor. I give that book about an 8. Maybe even 8.5. Maybe I should get it graded. Here's my #2. Another Bernie Wrightson masterpiece. This is the first Patchwork Man. They call it a cameo. He's only in like a page or a panel. This is #3. This is the first actual Patchwork Man. My 1, 2, and 3. Pretty much all my books under, you know, 8 and below here are in really nice shape. This is a Wrightson classic with Abby Arkeen. This is #5. This is probably my favorite Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing cover. The town's a little, excuse me, I'm raspy voice like Nick Nolte, trying to recover here still. But the townspeople are trying to lynch him, classic Frankenstein style, and that's just a badass cover. Probably my favorite Wrightson cover. This one is really good too, though, and this is a nice copy too. This is #6. And talk about the EC influence, not only on the cover layout, but this classic Wrightson cover here has this kind of sci-fi robot that is very Wally Wood, EC sci-fi like, and I really dig that cover. #7, this is a nice issue. It's one of the brighter covers that Wrightson did, but I really like it. It's Swamp Thing and the Batman by Bernie Wrightson. This might be the first time he drew Batman, I'm not sure, but he went on to do some great work on Batman. Love the Cult. It's one of my favorite Bernie Wrightson things he did outside of Swamp Thing. This is #8. It's a classic Bernie cover again. There we go, there's some focus. Pretty cover. Dark colors, but still gorgeous cover. I like the use of light and dark on that cover a lot. Now, I'm missing, like I said, I'm missing #4. I'm also missing 9, 10, and 11. And on issue #10, Bernie, that was his last issue. And taken over from Bernie Wrightson on issue #11, which I don't have also, was Nestor Redondo, who I also really like, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he did a good job following up Bernie Wrightson, which is a damn near impossible thing to do. I love Bernie's work, but this is the first cover of Nestor Redondo's I have, and it's a pretty cool cover. He did a good job, I think. I like that. Like it a lot. Let's see here. I guess I'm going to have to take these down, but yeah, I think it's... I'm going to brain fart on this, I know it. But I think it's issue 13 or 14 is where Len Wein stopped doing the writing. And I believe it was Dave Michelin and Jerry Conway that finished up the writing duties on this book. But yeah, there's a few issues I need to get. It went to issue number 24, so missing 13. Here's number 14. Another cover by Nestor Redondo. And I really feel like this kid right here, his face really rings of Joe Kubert's influence. Very Joe Kubertish that boy looks to me. Missing 15. Here's number 16. Another horror influence cover. You can really see the influence and everything that's going on. That's a nice Redondo cover. I like the color palette and all the people in the front, the dark purple. This copy's wrenched. Looks like a cat bit on it. There's a chunk missing, teeth marks or something, but I just threw it in because he knew it was useless when I bought these other books. But this is one of my favorite Nestor Redondo covers right here. Great. The chunk missing didn't cut into the art, but this is a pretty nice image. I like that cover a lot. Missing 18 and 19, but here's a really nice, this is a near mint copy of 20, Swamp Thing versus the Mirror Monster, and this is a this is probably my favorite Nestor Redondo cover. That's a beast right there. Like that a lot. And like I said, this went to 24, so I still need 21, 22, 23, and 24. But I also want to show this. This is the Dollar Comics reprint of, it's called the Swamp Thing Saga, and it has 3 issues. Definitely number 5. I can't remember the others that are in there, but there's a reprint of that number 5 cover that I love so much. It's just a masterpiece. And, you know, Bernie left the book, but did what he had to do, and Redondo filled in. And honestly, I can't remember the guy's name, but Nestor Redondo didn't even draw the last issue of Swamp Thing. Somebody new did. They brought somebody new on for the last issue. Cannot remember who to save my life, but hope to finish that run up. And this is Saga of the Swamp Thing. They relaunched Swamp Thing in '82. Pardon me. They did this to coincide with the release of the Swamp Thing movie in '82 by oh my God, was it Wes Craven? Wes Craven, not Clive Barker, but it was Wes Craven. And so they relaunched the series. The writing was done by Martin Pasco, and he got a lot of criticism. A lot of people didn't like his writing, and Thomas Yeats drew the covers here, and he's another kind of undercredited Swamp Thing artist. He really carried the series on here because the writing wasn't good. There's a very Frankensteinish type cover where the townspeople are coming after him. Not as good as Bernie's, but a good one by Yeats, and that's number 1. I actually have doubles of that. That's a pretty nice copy. This is a badass cover. Photo cover. They're already pitching the movie here by number 2. And that's Dick Durock, who played Swamp Thing in the costume. And I just want to say about this guy real quick. It didn't ring a bell as a kid. But going back now as an adult, through the Swamp Thing movie, he's one of my favorites. And more importantly, I'm a huge fan of the 70s Incredible Hulk's TV series with Bill Bixby. And he was in my favorite 2-part episode. It's called The First, or The First One, something like that, where David Banner finds out there's this old guy scientist who turned into a Hulk-like creature, and he goes to hunt him, you know, find the guy to see if he can't help him get rid of his curse of being the Hulk. And the guy just wants to turn back into the Hulk creature. He can't. And so Dick Durock also played the old man when he turned into the Hulk. Cool episode. Here we're moving on. Again, they're pitching the motion picture. This is number 3, another Yeats cover. Pretty cool. This is number 4, bright white, sharp copy, another Yeats cover. And the thing about Saga of the Swamp Thing that's cool about putting together a full run is they're not that expensive. I mean, number 1's less than $10, I think, $10 or less. The most expensive issues are like the first Alan Moore and the first appearance of John Constantine. You can get them for $40 or less. So it's a pretty good book to read, and it's not going to cost you that much money to track them all down. But here's number 5. Another Yeats cover. This is one of my favorite Thomas Yeats covers. This is number 6. And it's a cool cover. Most of these are in really good shape, because like I said, you pay $4 for a near mint copy of some of these. It's number 7. Really strange and different cover here. Crazy. This one I really like. One of my favorite Yeats covers. And this sings to the old kind of pulps and adventure serials. And you got they're on this jungle island, pterodactyls, a skull-shaped mountain, and he's saving the damsel in distress, who's looking shook, and she's got her dress ripped like classic pulp style. Really dig that cover. Swamp Thing also, in my belief, inspired the Toxic Avenger movies, which I also like, and it spawned a cartoon in the 80s. But Swamp Thing also had a cartoon in the 80s. He got kind of big with the kids there for a minute. I wasn't a fan of the cartoon. It's more for children. Even back then, I didn't like it because I was a little older by the time I came out, maybe like 10 years old, 11 years old. Didn't like it. But here's Saga number 9. Another Yeats cover. Number 10. This is pretty badass Thomas Yeats cover. Another good image. Like that one. Number 11. And it's been so long since I've read some of these, I can't remember the names or what these creatures were a lot of they fought. But this is number 13. I'm missing number 12. Need to get that. Also missing 14. Here's number 15. I do remember I wasn't that impressed with this character here. Not that impressive. This is number 16. Not only is this one of my favorite Thomas Yeats covers, this is the first issue of Saga the Swamp Thing. First Swamp Thing comic period I ever read. As a young buck, I was maybe 9 years old, and I heard the older guys at the comic store wanted to buy some books talking about how good this book turned around. Because, you know, getting close to issue number 20 where Alan Moore took over, this book was about to be canceled due to poor sales. I mean, Len Wein even chimed in some type of editorial or written piece where he kind of chastised the writing of Martin Pascal, as many people did, and kind of just tried to invalidate a lot of things that happened in the storyline, and, you know, just said, hey, what he's doing is separate and continuity from what me and Bernie did, which upset some people. I don't know if it was that uncommon at the time, but it upset some people, and so did Pascal's writing. And like I said, Yeats carried it, and this is one of the covers, and this being the first book I read after I heard how good Alan Moore was by the older guys at the comic store, my buddy up the street, Brian, had this issue, and I asked him to borrow it, even though it was pre-Alan Moore. I liked it. And that started my fascination with the Swamp Thing. So that's a special issue to me, because it's the first one I read. It's number 17. Pretty cool cover there. And what's interesting to note is Bissett worked on this cover with Yeats. So here's 18. It's still Thomas Yeats. He even did covers up into the early 20s. He did some of... Whoa, don't fall, baby. He even did some of the covers for Alan Moore's run. But, yeah, someday I'm going to make a video where I don't knock any books over or drop any books. It's going to be interesting. Maybe I can do that today, but I'm doubting it. I'm feeling a little rough around the edges today. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Now the other thing is, I don't want to be a turd and show the same... Uh-oh. I have to set this down for a second. So much for not knocking any books over. Oh, God. No. Okay, I think we got it here. Disaster temporarily averted. Sorry for that. But I don't want to be a turd and show this CGC book I showed in another video again, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because it ties into this, and it is, you know, for continuity purposes, I'm going to redisplay this for continuity purposes only. But that's my 9.8 Saga of the Swamp Thing, number 20, first Alan Moore issue. This is where, in my opinion, the greatest run of writing in modern DC or Marvel started. It may be a bold statement, but I'm sticking to it. That's my opinion. That's where the run started. Issue number 20. I think he went... last issue was 64, I believe, Alan Moore's. But just an incredible run on that book. So I'm missing 21. 21 was a retelling of his origin. It's an important issue. It's the Floronic Man, of all people, did an autopsy on the Swamp Thing, and found out he was never a human. All his organs were vegetable matter, plants, and he said, you know, you just absorbed the consciousness of Dr. Alec Holland because he died in the swamp, and such a tragedy happened, so, you know, you saw vengeance for him, but he was more like a plant elemental, if you will. You know, the totem of the green, if you will. Spirit of the earth, spirit of the green. And I loved what Alan Moore did to recreate this character and his powers and remap it. It was radical, but he pulled it off great. So that was issue 21 that I don't have. Need to get that. This is 22. I have 2 copies of that. Yeats is still doing the covers here. And I'm missing 23, 24, and 25. 26 is the first cover by Bissett and Toddleman that I have, and that's a pretty one. I like that cover. Missing 27, and then a bunch from here on I need to film, but this is 28. This is one of my favorite Bissett and Toddleman covers. That is a beauty. That is a beautiful image. I love that cover. Almost missing like 9 issues here. Moving up to, this is number 37. This is the first appearance of John Constantine. Rick Veitch is doing some art, but you still have Bissett doing the covers, thank God. So I like his work. Here's missing 38 and 39. Here's 40. And I'm just missing a bunch here, you know, or whatever. 41. And I'm ashamed to say I don't know who did this cover, but it's a pretty neat painted cover with the Swamp Thing voodoo doll. 42. Another Bissett masterpiece. I really like this one too. Kind of odd cover, or color for the background of the cover, but a neat cover there. He's growing vegetables out of his back. And yeah, I need a lot more to complete this run, but like I said, they're not too pricey, so chances are I can get these at a reasonable deal somewhere, hopefully. And it's also, like I said, I have ADD almost when it comes to collecting. I don't just say, alright, I'm going to finish off my Swamp Thing run before I buy anything else. I just buy all kinds of stuff and work on this, that, and the other at the same time. And just buy what I find, but hopefully I'll get it completed someday and get the rest of the stuff I need. But here's 44, another Bissett cover. Sorry about the glare. This is another Bissett cover I really like. That's a cool one. And this is a beauty of a headshot cover. It's something that's been done a lot, but man, Bissett killed it on this cover. I like that a lot. Here's number 50. And this is a tie-in to my favorite Swamp Thing story from Annual number 2, which I'll show another copy of later. I have doubles of it, but it ties into the story of Swamp Thing going to hell to fight Anton Arcane to get back the soul of Abigail Arcane, you know, his love and the daughter of his nemesis. And aiding him in this quest are Etrigan the Demon, the Spectre, Phantom Stranger, Dead Man, and Dr. Fate. That's a cool issue. Double-size anniversary number 50. And look at that cover. Everybody's in anguish there. That's a good one. Sophisticated suspense, it says now. You know. It started a few issues back, but yeah, it is sophisticated because Alan Moore was writing it. Now here's 52 and 53 are two of my favorite issues. It's a two-parter with Batman. It's kind of similar to something that happened recently in Swamp Thing, but you know, he's freaking out and he's in pain and he's overgrowing Arkham City, and Batman has to get him to chill out, and that's a badass Bissett and Tottleman cover, number 52. And this is the giant size second part to it, issue number 53. And man, do I love that cover. Bissett with the giant Swamp Thing meeting the Batman. Love it, love it, love it. Number 54. Try and get moving along here for everyone. I think we're close to wrapping this one up here. Appreciate you bearing with me. Feeling rough around the edges today, but I'm gonna be fine. Okay, now, oops, sorry. Okay, now this is 55. Swamp Monster destroyed, and there's Abby mourning him. Cool cover. This is another awesome Bissett cover. And that's issue 56. That's a sweet cover. I like the color contrast on that. Pretty neat. This one's really cool. 57. Swamp Thing, question mark. That's a cool cover, man. Really cool. And this is number 58. And it's Bissett, but to me, he really kind of did, it should say after Joe Kubert, because he kind of did a homage to Kubert's art here, where he's fighting Hawkman and Hawkgirl with Adam Strange at his feet. And I don't know, anyone else think it, because I do. I see a little bit of homage to Joe Kubert's style in his cover there. But here's number 60, and they're doing the new format now. It's a crazy cover. I'm not sure who did that one, that painted cover. I don't think it's Tottleman, but I don't know. Missing a few issues, but this is an important one. This is an awesome cover. This is 64. This is the final Alan Moore issue, Swamp Thing, and a fitting tribute cover by Tottleman with Abby and the Swamp Thing walking off into the sunset in the swamp. And that's one of my favorite covers. That's beauty. Or that is a beauty, rather. Sorry. And missing a bunch, but here, this is, you know, I have some more but random issues, and I really need to fill it in, but I'm not going to make you sit through 150 issues of this. But I want to show this. This is later ones under the Vertigo imprint, but the same numbering. And pretty neat cover. I think this is Simon Bisley cover. But more importantly, Grant Morrison, Mark Millar worked on this book. So I'm going to have to get the rest of those. Faux show. So I do like, Grant Morrison writes weird stories, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't read his stuff on the Swamp Thing yet. I haven't read it. So watch out. Oh boy. You're not going to fall. There we go. Okay, I'm going to try and close this out here. Sorry, I'm running out of room to put these books. Let me straighten these up. Okay, sorry. This is pretty cool. This is the annual #1 from 1982. As you can see, the official adaptation of the Embassy Pictures film Swamp Thing. And this issue is written by Bruce Jones, and I think Mark Teixeira did the interior, but the cover is just, I'm trying to get this without the glare, beautiful rendering by Richard Hescox. Very accurate rendering of Adrienne Barbeau as well. But man, that's a beauty of a painting in my opinion. I don't really know much other work that Richard Hescox did. If anybody else does, please let me know. But that's a beautiful cover in my opinion, and a cool issue because it's the adaptation of the movie. Here's #2. Like I said, I have 2 copies of this. This is my single favorite Swamp Thing story by Alan Moore or otherwise. Cool cover, with the Spectre, Etrigan, Deadman, Swamp Thing, and the Phantom Stranger. This is annual number 5. Cool story written by Neil Gaiman. Very interesting, weird cover. Don't know who did that. Might be Bisley, but I don't know. He did some good painted covers there. But also wanted to show real quick, this is number 1 in the series, and I do like it. Scott Snyder is writing it, and his Batman books are going crazy price-wise online. I don't know, I haven't checked on these in a little bit, I don't know how they're doing, but it's a decent read. I don't like how they force you into buying crossovers, and the crossovers were good. The Animal Man and Frankenstein tie-ins were good reads, but I just feel like as a reader you can tell when they're taking too long to tell a story intentionally to sell more issues, and I felt like they did that with the Rot World, and it could have been told a lot quicker. It had a lot of really good plot points in it, but I feel like they fluffed it up too long. But this is still a pretty good read, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think there's a new creative team taking over. But Yannick Paquette did these first 2 covers, and I really do like them. And this is a pretty good read. I have this full run so far. So, that concludes my video on my Swamp Thing books. I hope you enjoyed them, because I enjoyed showing them to you. He's one of my favorite characters out there. And I feel like not enough people read his books, and I feel any comic collector really should do themselves the privilege of reading some of Alan Moore's run of this book, starting with 20 and 21, because it's so worth it and it's so important. But thank you for watching. Take care, read some Swamp Thing books, and happy reading.